Okay, today we're going to talk about a review of adding and subtracting, multiplying, dividing integers. Let's start with adding integers. So anytime we add integers, say we have 2 plus 3, both are positive, you're going to add them up just like you normally do. The answer, of course, is 5. Okay, when they're both negative, you have the same concept. You're going to be adding. So just like you did 2 plus 3 is 5, 2 plus 3 is also 5. But where positive 2 and positive 3 is positive 5, negative plus a negative is a negative, so it is negative 5. So anytime the signs are the same, both positive, both negative, just add them up. And if they're both positive, the answer is positive. If they're both negative, the answer is negative. Now, the other options you got is one sign of each. Let's say that I had 2 plus a negative 3, or negative 2 plus 3. Okay, when you have one sign of each, you're going to end up subtracting. We always subtract big minus small. So we're going to go 3 minus 2 is 1. And we're going to do the same thing here. 3 minus 2 is 1. Now you have to decide upon the sign of your answer. And the way you do that is you look at the bigger number. In this case, 3 is bigger than 2. So the sign here is negative, so this is negative 1. Here, 3 is also bigger than 2, but this time the sign is positive, so the answer is positive 1. A couple other things you should be aware of is anytime you see the minus symbol, you can treat this as plus a negative. Okay, so 2 minus 3 is the same as 2 plus negative 3, so the answer should be negative 1. And you can think of this minus symbol as that negative for our, if you only have one negative rule, you do subtraction. You also have what's called a double negative. So sometimes you might have things like 2 minus negative 3. Anytime you see this double negative right here, that's going to become a plus. So this answer is 5. So the double negative becomes a plus. But don't confuse that with this case, where there's 2 negatives. In this case, what you have is the second one up here. 2 negatives, so we're going to be adding, and the answer will be negative, so this answer is negative 5. Okay, this is all the addition, subtractions one you're going to get. When you multiply, in this case it's 6. If you have 2 positives, your answer is positive. If you have 1 negative, and it doesn't matter where it is, the answer is negative. And if you have 2 negatives, the answer is positive again. So it starts with positive, 1 negative is negative, and then it goes back and forth. And division is no difference, so if you have 6 divided by 3, the answer is 2. And if you have 1 negative, and again it doesn't matter where it is, the answer will be negative 2. And lastly, if you have 2 negatives, the answer is positive. Okay, so the division rules and the multiply rules are just the same. If you have no negatives, it is positive. 1 negative, it is negative. 2 negatives, it's positive. If you had 3 negatives, it'd be negative. 4 negatives is positive, and it just goes back and forth forever. So these are all your addition and your subtraction rules, and if you have any questions, please make sure you ask.